to Out of the Box Radio with me, your host, Christine Blasdale. Out of the Box Radio is a weekly podcast of audible ear candy dedicated to bringing a fresh perspective on this thing that we call life. And each and every week, we're going to be diving into the topics that matter most with lively conversations on issues such as health, wellness, and transformational healing, all with the goal of creating a better world and becoming a happier human being. I will be your tour guide for this epic adventure, and each and every week we're going to be embarking on a journey with the ultimate goal being transformation to our highest potential. And now, let's get out of the box. And welcome to a very special Out of the Box Radio with Christine. I am your host, Christine Blasdale, and I'm bringing back one of my favorite people in the whole wide world, and someone that I wanted to do a Valentine's Day, month, week, whatever, special, and because Valentine's is my favorite holiday. I call it a holiday. It's not really even a holiday. It should be a paid holiday. People should be getting the day off to celebrate love. But that's okay. If I rule the world, that's what would happen. But I want to welcome back to the program Abigail Noel, who is just, like I said, one of my favorite people. She's a medical intuitive psychic channel. She is absolutely fantastic. And we are going to be talking about the soul's journey to embody love today. We're going to talk about Valentine's Day, Valentine's month, what it holds in store for all of us, because whatever I'm going through, whatever Abigail's going through, we know that you are going through as well. And I want to welcome back to the program Abigail Noel. Hi, Abigail.
Hey, Christine, how are you?
I'm so happy because I love Valentine. You know, I'm just a big old romantic, I guess. Mm-hmm. But ever since I was a kid, you know, in school, remember in school when I would get so excited when it was close to Valentine's Day. Not because I had anybody in school that I had a little crushy on. It was about going with my grandmother to the like Woolworths or, you know, going to the store and looking at all the Valentine's Day cards that are, you know, as kids, you get them in the box, you get like 30 of them. Mm-hmm. And you hand out 30 or 50 Valentines because everybody's your Valentines when you're a little kid. And that was just such a special memory. And sitting there and writing, you know, little things on the cards and putting them in the envelopes and saying, this is for my friend Liz. This is for my, you know, it was just such a great time. And then now as an adult, I just love Valentine's Day. So welcome to the special. And back to Out of the Box, just want to know right away, since you are our wonderful medical intuitive and psychic, if you're picking up anything that you need to say to folks regarding this time of the year.
Well, first I want to say I'm honored to be back on the show, and especially honored to be on for Valentine's Day because I love as well. And I totally agree with you. I think it should be a paid day off so that everybody can have one day a year that we focus completely on love and what that is really and truly. And man, it's a process. It's a lifelong process, really. It's the reason that we're here is to learn how to act like love in a body, walking around in the third dimensional realm, you know. So yeah, it's a really important holiday. Message for what's, you know, it's just coming through. They keep telling me it's also about letting go. It's so funny because you wouldn't really think of love as letting go, but it is.
It's letting go, isn't it? Yes, it is.
Yeah,
Non-attachment, or when you say letting go, does it mean like just also allowing?
You know, absolutely. And not only that, but it's also attached to, and it's like, I love Valentine's and the concept and exactly what you're saying. I love the little cards and the idea, and it's wonderful. In fact, it's this whole month, it'd be a great time to just remind each other and ourselves to just call your friends or just shoot them a text. You know, these days, everybody's doing that and it's fast, and just tell them, hey, I love you.
Yes.
Thanks for being in my movie. You know,
yeah.
It's not about romance so much. It's not about sex. It's just about loving one another and really understanding what it is to hold a space of love for somebody. And it's, here's the gig, because we tend to say love and unconditional love. There is only one kind, and it comes unconditionally.
Right.
Ooh, right?
Let's talk about that, because that is something, you know, I'll tell you, I have examples of friends too who they'll get into a disagreement with somebody or whatever, and the other person will say, you know, I'm only saying this because I love you, and it's like this grasping, attaching, holding on, controlling kind of love, and that's not love.
No, not at all. In fact, if you give love or give anything, and that's another thing about the holiday, it's like, and I don't think so much, but I mean, it's not about the gifts. Love doesn't do that because love has no judgment and love is free.
That's right.
And that's the letting go process, isn't it? And that's why the month of February, it'd be a great time if we really want to get in touch with love, to look at every aspect of your life, your own personal self, and also the relationships in your life. And with love, start letting go of what doesn't serve, which doesn't serve you in a healthy way, what's not contributing to, your love of self.
And that would include things that we do to sabotage our lives, things that we do to ourselves that harm us in some respect as well?
Absolutely, emotionally and physically. So you're looking at everything in your life. You got to take care of the physical body, letting go maybe of some habits that are harming the body or harming self. Maybe just looking at things like that, and also looking at relationships in our life that really aren't serving. And this is tricky because, as you said, it's not about, if you're looking at the relationship and you're upset because somebody's not doing something for you, it's not about letting that go. Then you need to go internal and find out why you have an expectation of that person. But it's about looking at key patterns, emotional patterns, like possibly feeling ignored, surrounding yourself with, this feeling that I'm ignored. I have people that don't hear me or don't want to hear me. Looking within yourself and understanding that that's part of yourself that you're not self-fulfilling, that you're looking for outside of yourself. You've got to go in, reach deep, and find the part of you that's not hearing you, and then let go of the people in your lives in a loving way. What does that mean? It literally just means to not take their actions or their behavior towards you personally any longer, and then releasing them with love. So what you do is you just literally don't take it personally, which means you've now removed your energy, you've pulled it back. You're now standing on your own 2 feet. You're not looking for that energy outside of yourself. And then you hold a space, but you don't close off.
Well, that's
either.
And
Does
that's
that make sense? A lot of people say, I'm tossing you out, never talking to you again.
No.
Not it either.
They have to have. So many people have this like black or white ideal. And again, we were talking about earlier this idea. So many people have this kind of really, it's a twisted view of what love is, because to me, love is never ownership. It's never control. It's never manipulation. You can have desires for another person, but isn't it so much more wonderful that when you let go, and it's hard to let go. It's very difficult to let go because you just want, right? You want,
yes.
And you desire. But I find that when you ultimately let go and you have, exactly like you said, you hold a space of love for that person. In other words, it's not conditioned on the fact, well, I love them if they call me back. I love them if they text me back. I love them if they act this way or that way, or they say these things to me. When you really truly do love somebody, you don't have any of those expectations. And if you're able to let go and hold a space of love, it's amazing what happens. That's the thing.
Infinite love and gratitude. And I love what's about that. Many, almost all of us carry with us until we start breaking the patterns. But many of us carry a belief that it can be and is often referred to as right behavior means love. And that is because we are taught judgment from the time that we're born.
Oh, yes.
And we're taught to judge ourselves first. Children, the way that we discipline children is foundationally incorrect. Not to make the show about that, but it is about love, and that's where it starts. And there are those little times sometimes when you can go back and remember being a child when you got in trouble for something and you weren't even sure why you were in trouble. Those little things, it creates a belief that is called right behavior means love. And we start to judge the people who come into our life based on how they can fill our own needs. And we either do this consciously, and we do this both consciously and subconsciously. We do it consciously until we choose to stop, until we're either ready, willing, or able to stop doing that, right? and it happens unconsciously because of these reactive patterns, and childhood traumas and lifelong things, and past life stuff, and also, that happens as well. But it's about letting go of those energies. When you might go through a rough relationship, and you might even perceive that this person was horrible, and maybe that person even cheated on you, 2 or 3 times, and they lied and they drug you through court. Yes, you are called to forgive that person. Find how it benefited you, how you grew, and how you learn. You distance yourself. You don't allow that person to keep attacking you energetically or on an earth plane, earth level, whatever that is. It's okay to protect yourself, but it's not okay to take a judging stand. If you take a judging stand, what'll happen is you will never forgive that person. And until you truly come to a place of forgiveness, and acceptance comes first, but until we truly forgive, we will never truly understand the class. And literally, it blocks you from your own self-love. And that's the only reason that we're here. So you block yourself from your destiny by choosing to view the things that happened in your life as bad or good.
What if, as children, we were abused by a parent? Do we have the ability as an adult now to go back and to love that child? Not focusing on the perpetrator, not focusing on who caused the pain and the suffering of us as a child.
Yes.
But are we able to go back through love and love that child, us?
Absolutely. In fact, it has to be done. It's part of the healing process. The inner child work is some of the most powerful work I've ever watched or experienced, and re-imprinting. But yes, we have to go back and love the heck out of that little girl or that little boy. We have to and give them everything that they didn't get, or that they felt they were lacking. Literally through the inner child work, gosh, it's amazing. Going back and loving those parts of you, and literally going back and working with somebody who does this type of work. It's emotional alchemy, and there's many different forms out there, but going and doing this inner child work, it's some of the most rewarding work, because that's how you truly learn who you are, by going back and loving that little child. It's amazing what starts to unfold when you start doing that for yourself and taking care of self first, instead of trying to always reach outside of yourself. See, most often the help that we're offering somebody else is because we want some type of external recognition. It's the part of us that's reaching out, to be heard, the part of us that didn't feel like they got heard or recognized or felt worthy as a child. And it's the wrong energy to help with. It creates a neediness, and that's the cycle of love that a lot of us find ourselves in. And what happens is we're constantly suffering disappointment in our relationships.
Well, because we're seeking validation through another person.
I know it's hard. Rejection is one of the hardest things to, it's one of the hardest emotions to work with and to flip. And feeling lost, oh my gosh, in a love relationship, it can feel like the same grief in your life as a loved one who crosses, and sometimes worse. The pain can be worse, or getting through it can be worse. The depression can come on worse, in those relationships. But we write it that way. And as hard as it is, we learn more switching it up. And it's funny, it's the same way that we tend to view death as so sad, when it's a celebration for that soul. Most of the time, they were so ready to get the hell out of here, and they are so happy to be back, where they are. Not to mention, it's most often when somebody crosses, it literally is what they wrote. It's when they wanted to go, and most often it's how they wanted to go. The same way, so my point, going back to relationships, often a relationship ending is exactly what we wrote. It's what we want to happen. It's what we wanted to have happen. We had learned and we grew from that other person or that partner as much as we were going to, and it was time to go. And we view it as a loss.
I think because of the ego, the protection mechanism. I think
you can't leave me. I don't want to leave. Abandonment. Yes.
Abandonment issues, and there's this thing about a rejection. And what I've kind of learned over the years is that a lot of times it's not even about you. we take everything so personally and we internalize it, like there must be something wrong with me, I must be too this or too that, or and so it always comes back onto us when it could be that the person that their journey needed to go onto another level, you need to go into another level. That's why with all of the people that I loved, I will always love them.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
Even if we're not together anymore, that doesn't change. Doesn't mean that I want to be with them, because they have a different life path and so do I. I'm going this direction. But at the same time, no matter what transpired and ended a relationship, I still love them, which I don't see that often in breakups, and when people do leave, talk about marriages, failed marriages, or, going on their separate ways, divorce, the animosity, and anger and hurt that is left from that is, it's really shocking to me, but it happens a lot.
It happens more often than it doesn't. It's funny, two things. Rejection is actually a promotion if you will allow it. So that's the first thing. If you can view rejection as a promotion, it's the universe telling you that you're stronger than you think and that there is a greater love out there for you if you will just keep walking. That's the first thing. And then the second part of that is just, it's so true. You'll hear somebody say, well, I used to love that. Well, I used to love him. Why were you married? Well, I used to love him. No. If you used to love him, then you never loved him, because you can't used to. Love is eternal. It was always there. When you meet somebody and you love them, in love and gratitude, and then you can't stop it. You can't break it. It's always going to be there if it was ever there. If you don't feel that way, then yes, there's a certain part of the ego that's absolutely scared. A part of that, there's some inner child work to be done.
And we were talking about this in the first time I had you on, that you're known as the sort of the twin flame, twin heart camp counselor.
Yeah.
And you are.
So because funny. And just to explain to anybody listening, that is, I've got a lot of different guides on the other side, but anyway, going into that, I started recognizing these patterns. That's how I learned. And I love this. I learned about twin hearts, and that's what my guidance, what Big D calls them, and so that's how I see it, because I see the two people splitting from one heart. That's how it's shown to me, and it's really beautiful. And with that said, I just started recognizing this pattern of these couples that would come in with these just phenomenal, crazy stories about like how they met, and they would be, almost mind blown. Like they really needed someone to ground them and explain to them what was happening in their life, because they thought they were losing their minds.
I'm losing my mind, exactly.
Yes. They'd be like, why are there 22s everywhere? And he was wearing a shirt that they saw and they were told. And just these crazy signs. They all had these different stories. So I'd ask my guides, and Mother Mary works on my left, and I call her Mama. And she came through, Mother Mary came through, and she's the one who works with me on the twin flames. Just in that aspect of the work that I do, she would start coming through, and she began explaining first, and she would tell me that it was my job to get them to all hold hands. And I got to tell you, if you're having, and going back to that, does it matter if it's a soulmate or a twin heart? No, just love the hell out of that other person. Seriously, don't do it to your own detriment, because love doesn't do that. Love is strong, but love is also vulnerable, and love does not have expectations. Man, if there's one thing I could say, drop your expectations from the other person. Just try it. I literally had people tell me, oh, Abigail, you can't do that. You can't be in a relationship and just not have any expectations. And you know what I tell you? I tell them, try it. I tell them what my guides tell me. Try it on like a new dress. Leave the tag on. You know what I mean? Just wear it for about 3 or 4 days. See if it doesn't work. Be the change you want to see. None of us like to be told what to do or feel like someone has an expectation of us. It's a horrible feeling. Yet we turn around and think nothing of doing that in our own relationships, and then we call it love. It's not. in Flame Gratitude. And so all of these things, going back to being a camp counselor, I've been working for the last 8 years. Oh my gosh, there's probably 30, there's probably 33, someone just said, just to be funny, different couples that I still work with now. And I've watched them all. I just assist them as best I can. I just watch. I hold the lantern. I ask their guides and my guides where we need to go. And I objectively, without judgment, hold that space for both of them. And it's just this really cool in Flame Gratitude. And I watch people grow in love. And I watch people overcome these so-called problems, which are actually classes for us to learn and grow from. And it's been an amazing process. It's been an amazing experience. But man, I didn't understand it at all at first. I didn't even know what a twin heart was. All of the knowledge, and I'm very honored, and I'm very proud to say that all of the knowledge that I have came from my channel, not from a book. In fact, I was not allowed, I was asked not to read anything online or in a book about twin hearts or twin flames. But I was to learn completely from experience in my channel in the sessions. And that's what I have spent the last 8 years doing. And it's been a phenomenal period of growth for myself, like unbelievable. I had no idea. First of all, what I know is that 8 years ago, I didn't understand the definition of love at all.
Well, right.
At all. I had no idea. And I say this with so much love and compassion for the world, but there's very few people on the planet that understand that definition. And I don't want to make our Valentine's Day special sad, but again, that goes to how we're raising our kids. You only know what you're given and what you're shown. That's the way that, we're created. We have mirror cells, and we mirror our environment, the environments that we grow up in.
I don't know about the audience, but I know that when I finally discovered whatever, came to the revelation that that I've met, my twin heart.
Mm-hmm.
I can tell you, I have never experienced this sort of love. I've been in love before, but this is ridiculous. Like this is what you were going back to and talking about before, like our journey here on this planet to embody, to actually love like God. That idea of absolute unconditional love. It's a love that a mother has for a child. It is the love that a husband has for a wife. It is the love that two siblings, two children who've been through everything together, two twins, really, literally, two twins.
Yes.
It is the most massive love I've ever experienced.
It is, and I'm glad you brought that up. Your twin heart, and so after we've said the most important thing is to I'm hearing the song, love the one you're with. That's the most important thing. But to make a distinction, because it is interesting, twin hearts are different from soulmates. The love is very, very powerful. The connection is very, very powerful. It's like
a psychic
no other
connection. It's a psychic connection too,
it's
right?
very much a psychic connection. Yes. You can really understand each other without words. It's very common for the twins to be able to communicate telepathically with each other. It's very much about sacred marriage is what it is.
I like that.
Yeah, it's sacred marriage. The Bible, the Christian Bible. Let me say it this way, and this comes from my channel, and I asked it everyone, and I say this all the time in my sessions and when I do speaking. Take it from your head to your heart. I'm not here to tell anybody their truth, but I am speaking not what Abigail believes. I speak what I know, and it's because I didn't know it before. And what I'm told is that sacred marriage and reincarnation were removed from the ancient writings that we call the Bible today, and we lost that understanding, and it's a big part of why our relationships, love relationships, look the way they are. But going back to this, what's explained to me is that we do have, and it happens when we're ready. You have a twin heart or twin soul. There's actually two. Okay, you have your masculine mirror and you have your feminine mirror, two halves of yourself. But most often you're here taking a class with one of those halves, one at a time at least. Am I making sense, Christine?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
In film gratitude, what you'll see a lot of is one main partner will cross, they might die, or you'll get divorced. Okay, and then the other one comes in, the other half of yourself. And you do live past lives with this person. You do some of the toughest past lives, which is why you have that type of love that you're talking about with that other person. You love them. It's the most unconditional love. You love them like you love one of your children. There is nothing that person could do to change the way you feel. Why are they in your life? For two reasons. One, they reflect all of your good stuff if you're ready to see it, and all of your bad stuff if you're ready to let it go. And I don't mean good and bad. I'm just using those terms because there's really no good or bad. But they reflect all of the stuff that serves you, and you'll either see that good in yourself or not, or you'll run from them if you're not ready to see it. And then they also, at the same time, as I said, reflect all that doesn't serve you. And so then you'll begin letting go of that stuff that doesn't serve you.
The stuff that you've been holding on to for so many years that needs to be cleared in order for you to...
Even lifetimes.
Right.
Even
lifetimes.
Even lifetimes. So
they'll trigger it. They'll trigger whatever it is.
Yes, and no judgment in this.
No,
because any of us, are here to become more conscious. But for those of us living in a more conscious place, very aware of reincarnation, those twins will often come in knowing in a session that they have past life energy that has to be cleared, and they will come in like there is a fire. Like, Abigail, we're having dreams about some kind of crazy, I don't know, we were in Egypt and she tried to cut off my head, and we have to, And they'll say, like, we have to figure this out. And they'll realize that they'll literally consciously realize that energy is what is creating the same reactive pattern in their current relationship today. And we go back and work with that past life energy. It's very interesting. Now, if you have someone who comes in who's not open or doesn't believe for some reason, it's not in alignment with their beliefs in reincarnation, it's okay. You can get around that in a lot of, in a lot of different ways, and work with that person in a way that they can handle or understand, as well, and just working with it in a present day manner. But I'll tell you what, if you're open to understanding the truth of reincarnation, and you go right back and you're open to actually seeing that past life, and that's all it takes, and a good guide. That's why I always tell people I'm just a tour guide in Flow Gratitude, but I love doing that stuff. And if you go back and clear that past life stuff that's there in a relationship, it's amazing. It's just the energy changes exponentially faster. With
your clients, I know you do like the medical intuitive stuff, so you can see stuff that's happening physically with them, and of course, obviously, like the whole journey, the reincarnational journey. Are you able to, when you're talking to somebody, are you able to get flashes of them from a past life that need to be brought to their attention?
Sure. You can ask anything, and if it's allowable. So I was told to never limit when I would ask, do I work like this as a healer? Do I do this as a healer? Do I do that as a healer? Right. Every time they would say yes. And I was talking to Big D, Father God, who I call Dad or Daddy. And I was talking to him one day, and he just said, never limit yourself. Never. Why would you limit your intuitive ability? What question would I not want to answer? See, what question, then that goes back to the mind, having the mind. I love this. That's love. The mind of a kindergartner. You're just open to anything, Woo, we're going to color, yay. It's like that. We're going to cut out paper flowers today. You know what I mean? And no one in kindergarten cares. They don't tell you that you paste a flower in the wrong place. Do you know what I mean? No, Johnny, you put the flower in the wrong place. No, God doesn't care. So why wouldn't? And that's what he said to me when I began working with my intuitive abilities and faculties. Why would you limit it? He said, limit it. Why? We limit ourselves with our thoughts. There isn't any question. He said that I wouldn't want to answer if you're asking it from your heart. And man, did that really, whoo, I went, oh my God, anything I want to know, anything. There's a quick story, but it's just such a beautiful story, and it's fast, and I feel compelled to share it. I was in Northern California on the river. We live on the Klamath River out there, and I'm blessed to be out there for about 4 to 6 months every year. And I was watching one November a blue heron fish, and he was standing in this ice cold water. They'll stand there for hours. And I don't know, I guess I missed that in class, in school or whatever, in high school in science class, but I don't remember ever getting the anatomy of a crane's leg. And so I just asked. I asked Father God, Dad, you can ask John Lennon or Elvis if you want to, just anybody on the other side. They've got the bird's eye view. I said, how does he not get hypothermia in his leg? And immediately I heard and was shown. First I heard Father God. He said, you don't remember? Sweetheart? And I said, no, Dad, I don't remember. And then he said, it's like a thermos. And he showed me the little fascia sac with all the blood vessels and the veins in it. And he explained to me that they were able to keep a body temperature like a thermos. And the legs were designed just like that so that they could stand in the ice cold water and be warm. And in the summertime, they could stay cool. Whoa. Bam, you can ask any question of the universe that you want. And as long as you are open, that your mind is open, like that 5-year-old child, then you will hear the answer. As long as you're not trying to think of the answer, or you don't think you're supposed to come up with any of the answers. In fact, heaven would prefer we stop thinking and just listen. That's what they'd prefer.
Ooh, I like that. Say that again. I like that a lot because I overthink. I think everybody overthinks. It's just like thoughts come in. I'm careful now which thoughts I entertain.
Yeah.
Which ones I let stay around, like, pull up a chair and sit down. But it's so easy to get, caught into those thoughts and spiral out of control, whatever it is. And they always, it's so interesting to me too, Abigail. It seems like the negative thoughts are so much, they're beefier, they've gone to the gym and they're on steroids, They're packing
muscles. That's so funny.
And then
they're beefier. They are definitely beefier. And they are always trying to edge their way in there. Just muscle their way in.
Yeah, and then the positive thoughts are like little kind of like little faint, like, hey, no, really quiet, little, hey, no, it's really, you're awesome, and it's so beautiful. And then the other ones are just like, so loud.
This sucks. It'll never work.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly.
Yeah, here we go again. Yeah, those voices. And you do have to work with those. I mean, everybody's got the voices. Everyone has the thoughts, but no, heaven really does prefer it when we just shut up and listen, not to be rude, but just stop thinking and allow the answer to come, to understand. And this is what's so beautiful about that. This is what's so beautiful. In fact, Big D tells me all the time, heaven loves a dummy and a fool. Sweetheart, heaven loves a dummy and a fool. And I think, well, they must love me. So, because I love it. I love to ask. I like to think that I ask them what to wear half the time, unless I'm just running down to here or there. But I mean, it's more fun. Why do I want to think about those things? Why I would rather be directed. I would rather be told than to feel that responsibility. It was just so freeing for me to get to this level of surrender. And what's beautiful about it is that I find, and there's a little sign. My grandfather, after his first heart attack, he had 7 bypass surgeries before he crossed. And after his first heart attack, his doctor had told him, you don't understand. You have to slow down like you've never done before. And he had this sign that said, the hurrier I go, the behinder I get. And I never forgot that as a little girl. And I'm literally living that statement right now. The more I slow down, the more I seem to get done. It's so awesome. The less I think, the more I understand what I'm here to actually do. And it's been an amazing journey.
Going back to the twin hearts, twin flame relationship, adventure that it is.
That what doesn't kill you makes you stronger.
I'm gonna ask you, because it seems to me, and I had said this to you earlier, before we were before the show, that sometimes the further away you feel from your heart, your twin heart, the further, the more obstacles, the further the distance, whatever, the more things that come up, that in many respects we're actually getting closer. And it sounds so strange, but maybe that's the communication that twin hearts have on a soul level, and not on this physical, right? Not on this physical level. Because as human beings, I feel like we're a bunch of minions. Those minions that from the movie. We're bumping, or we're walking around bumping. As human beings, bumping into walls and running around with our heads cut off, kind of thing, and like and yet our souls are like totally like, I got this. We got this.
Exactly. Hey, Flowing Gratitude, I love that you said that, because my guides will tell me that all the time. You're a badass. What do you know what I mean? They'll flip it like a pancake. You wanted to take this class. Remember, you said you wanted to do this. And I'm like, what? I said, what? Everybody love gratitude. My joke, I tell them a lot. I ask them if they got me drunk in heaven before they had me sign my contracts. Like, I'm sure someone switched that on me. Are you sure I said I'd make this movie? I mean, you will feel like that so often in life, but no, it's really the truth, is that we came here to take as many hits as we could take. And when I say hits, we came here to learn how to love like God. This is the only place we come to master emotions. This is Earth School. This is the university. And going back to what you were saying about how it sometimes feels in these twin heart relationships, and it can be that way with a soulmate as well.
Yeah. Because
we're all here to play really the same role. It's just that when you get to the twin heart level, and I'll explain that soul is here is most often, because nothing is always, but most often those two souls are here to ascend. And it doesn't mean that they're going to live together. It doesn't mean they're going to live apart. Everyone wrote a different movie. You can't place any one scenario on all of the twin flames. They are all different, and they all wrote their own movies together. And the piece why they are here for one reason. They're in our lives. We are in each other's lives, the twin hearts, and a soulmate relationship, as I said, is there to do the same thing, but on a little lesser level most often. But what it is that they're here to teach us how to be stronger and to stand on our own. They're here to take us all the way home to self-love. And so your twin flame is literally there to show you that you can stand on your own. So you will get very alone and work with a lot of feelings of, it's going to bring up everything, all of your childhood fears, abandonment, not good enough, fears of being alone, fears of aging, you name it. It's going to bring up whatever junk you have got in your trunk, and you got to get it up and get it out. For the energies to work and come together in that unconditionally loving way. Both people have to be ready, willing, and able to choose to do the work. Why does it look like they're further away when they're actually closer? Because they are literally in your life to see if you will be the change that you want to see. So the stronger you get, and literally the more you let go of the idea that you need that person in your life in any way, shape, or form, and just love them from a distance even, because oftentimes the twins will go through a separation where one or the other will be the runner, and they will cut communication. One of the most painful things a soul can go through is to just be cut off, and to go through that. They will do that on purpose. Right? Why? Because they promised that they would play that role for you in your life. They told you that they would come and hurt you. It's how we perceive it, that bad. Why? So we could get the hell back up again on our own and keep stepping. And as we do that, then the person we are truly mated, and that's the term they use, my guide used for me, that we are mated to in heaven, the one that we wrote in our contract, the one that we're coming here to come back to, when we can stand on our own and no longer have a need for that person in our life, we are just jiggy about self. It looks like they're farther away when they're actually coming home. And that's the crazy phenomenon.
It's the ultimate paradox. The more you let go, the more they come to you. Is that strange or what?
Absolutely. And the tough part about that is, though, you can't, now that everyone's just heard that, hey guys, you can't let go with the expectation that they're going to come back, or you didn't really let go.
And letting go. No, and when I say let go, when I say let go, I don't mean to let go or to cut off. No.
Oh, no, I know you don't mean that. I'm just saying to be clear, because then some people think, oh, I'm going to let go, and then they're going to come back.
No, letting go means letting go of expectation.
Exactly.
You can have hope. You can have hope of seeing them, of sharing, joy and time and moments with them and all of that. But it's the expectations that we have of each other.
Exactly.
Is where we limit that love. That's where you box the love. Those expectations, because a lot of times your expectations of the other person are already too small.
Oh, absolutely.
Right?
And I love that you brought that up, because, people will say, what about good expectations? Good expectations should be fine. I said, no, we're not. That's judgment. You may be limiting yourself with those good expectations of you, yourself, or that other person. They may be here to do something much huger, than that, if I'm right to. And that's the other thing about love is, and you'll see this a lot with twin flames, often they will be asked or they will have a life situation that will ask them to live apart, sometimes for long periods of time.
Yes.
but they're still together. I just got full chills.
Yes.
But they remain together. They remain connected. And again, then, it's so funny. I just, say it. We're not love and sex are two totally separate things, guys. In Flow Gratitude, sex is just a extracurricular activity that you can replace with the gym. So people would say, how can you be in a relationship when you live across the world from one another? Just because you can't do it doesn't mean, they're not together. And they will. Well, once you run into your twins, they even if you don't live a life together, they will kind of weave in and out and come and go throughout your lifetime. I don't really think, and until they cross. It is a much deeper love, and one that you recognize, as I said, as unconditional, and it can be painful, no different than for anyone who's a parent and who has children,
Yes.
you watch your children go through very painful things. You feel that same attachment to a twin heart. You really do, and that is again because going back to, and I'm glad because it took us full circle. I'm not sure I finished on that. That's because whether we are conscious or it's in our subconscious, but whether we're consciously aware or not of it, you will play every role to that twin in past lives. We played 12 lives with the twin, other lives with soulmates in between, until we come together the 13th life. And the idea on the 13th life, what we're shooting for is ascension. What's funny is, and this is tough to say, and in a way it's not going to be what people maybe want to hear. It certainly is not what I wanted to hear, but I just I follow along, and just go, ooh, okay, that's how that works. And the thing is this, is that person is in your life to be an example. They're the easiest person for you to love, and they are to set an example for you to literally try and not do your best, not try, but do your best to hit that mark with every other person. So it's like your twin heart is this person that you will forgive anything, like you will your children. Then we are to do our best to offer that to everyone else on the planet as well. It's like they are your model, okay, for it. And they are here to bring you back to self-love. The hardest part to understand is that it's not about whether you end up with that person or not. It's about the choices that you make within that relationship, no matter what it looks like, because you've got to allow that other person their freedom no matter what.
Right. Well, that is the unconditional love, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
That's the parent love, as well, where you want your child to make, the best decisions for them, but their life course may be something that you didn't, again, expect. Those expectations. I'm expecting my child to do this and this and this and this. Well, no. When you just love that child and you give them your all of your love, your unconditional love, you remind them how much you love them, and you be a good example for them as a human being, so that they see, oh, this is how people relate to one another. This is how you deal with a situation. This is how you deal with adversity. They look at you and they learn those things, and then they can embody them themselves. So that's where you have that role as well. We're almost running out of time, but I wanted to before we go, I wanted to just touch on a couple quick things for Valentine's Day, the month of February, love in general. And again, it can be romantic, not romantic. It's up to you. But are you getting anything right now that you think you should be letting people know, that your guides are telling you?
I wanted to go a little bit deeper, so I'll really ask. But I mean, I keep going back to really working on, on the self. On the self. I want to really work on. I want to get the words accurate. But first of all, really work on being the change that you want to see. So look at, and this is the month of love, and let's just. The biggest thing is we all want that yummy, ooey, gooey chocolate. You know what I mean? For me, it's dark chocolate. Other people like milk chocolate. I don't know. Maybe some people like vanilla. I don't know. Lemon, whatever it is. But whatever is just yumminess to you. We all want that love, that unconditional love, right? We all want to be loved for exactly who we are and be in a place in a relationship and in all of our relationships in our lives, not just that loved one, where we can be authentic, man. So 2 parts in this message. One is that if you want authentic love, then start being as authentic as you can be as accepting of yourself as possible. And the other thing is we have to feel worthy. You have to know. We really, really work with looking at whether you're carrying that idea that right behavior means love, because that's blocking so many of us. We feel like we have to be good, or we have to earn it, or that there's something that we have to do to achieve love, and there's not. We just have to love self. The more that you love self, and you will reflect that, the more you will bring in the person that you are here to be with. And we don't have to seek it. I mean, it is so programmed. When these contracts are written in heaven, it's very interesting, but it's, I've got these mathematicians across the hall from me. I love them. They're getting their PhDs here at the University of Memphis in math, and they were talking about the theory of convergence last night. And I thought it was so interesting because I like to look at the psychology of math. And I said, oh, that's so cool. I said, that's like destiny talk. You guys are talking about energy and how it works. And so it's really about just trusting that everything is converging into the direction of love, no matter what choice you make. We can't make right choices, wrong choices. We're not, good people don't get love and bad people don't, or good people get love and bad people don't get love. I hope I'm making sense. Just know that that everyone's worthy of love, and just know that it's coming. Like, really believe it if you choose to vibrate like it. And again, what is that? The biggest thing I could say, letting go of your expectations of other people in every relationship in your life. Try it on like a dress. Like, do that for the whole month of February. And that's my message. That's my message. Let go of your expectations of every relationship. That includes your children. Just like you were saying, it's none of your business. If they wrote their own movie, let them make their choices. The relationships in your life, remove your expectations from your partner, from your husband, from your wife, from your boyfriend, your girlfriend, whoever. Release that and then start working on loving self more. Don't worry about the relationship. Know that if you do that inner work, that love relationship is already programmed into your life if you learn to allow and not to seek.
And as you were talking, as you were saying that, and because you're like full on channeling, I know it, I can feel it. inside me was just, and release the expectations of yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Because we have so many. Well, by this time of my age, I was supposed to have been married. I was supposed to have done this. I was supposed to own a house. I'm supposed to do this. I'm supposed to do that. Even little things like, it's a weekend, and I in the back of my head, I'm like, I'm told myself I was going to go to the gym, and then there's that other little that part of me who's like, you didn't go to the gym, and you promised yourself you were going to go to the gym, and then there's a little beat up period, and I'm just like, all of a sudden I just said, you know what, go with the flow. If you want to go, but you'll get just as much enjoyment going up to the beach and looking at the ocean. Don't have expectations of yourself, but have adventures of yourself, and love yourself for even not going to the gym. Do you know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. And if you don't do that and take care of self first, what happens is it ends up as what I like to call monkey turds. Actually, I don't call them that. That was Jay. They gave me that term. It's through my channel. Monkey turds. And that's resentment. When you don't take care of yourself and you're judging self, so you're beating yourself up because you didn't go to the gym, or you didn't get your house cleaned, or you didn't get your whatever done, you know what I mean? Or oops, you messed that up again, or you were late, or whatever you're beating yourself up with. Every time you do that, there's a monkey turd of resentment that you literally are putting in your pocket, and you're going to toss it at somebody else at an inappropriate time down the road. Every time. Isn't that funny?
Because I have a visual of the monkeys throwing their poop. It's a monkey turd.
It comes from, when you go to the zoo, there's always the monkeys, that you see first in the little cage, and everyone runs over like, oh, look at the monkeys. Those monkeys don't like you. They don't want to be in that cage.
Yeah.
They don't want to be there. And then they're like, oh, wow, they're so cute. What's funny? He's throwing poop. Yes, it's because he doesn't like you, and he doesn't want to be in that damn cage. Okay, but so it's like, and what's wild about it is when we don't love self first, and self-love is releasing that judgment and allowing it to flow, and knowing that we don't have to be perfect to be worthy of love, that there is someone who's going to come along and accept us in all of our imperfection. And when we start really getting jiggy and loving self just right where we are, not for like, where we might be in a month, or when I lose 20 pounds, or when I get this job, or when I get in a better apartment or drive a better car. I mean, if love and gratitude, none of that matters. Just start getting jiggy about self. And the last place I was going to go about that is we tend to throw that resentment at the people closest to us, at the ones that love us the most. That's what we turn around and do. So we take our own self-loathing and our own self-judgment, and then we throw it out like little resentment turds at the people that we love later down the road at inappropriate times in our relationships. And that's because we're harboring those expectations on other people, and they're really expectations that we're carrying for ourselves.
And you nailed it. When you really truly love yourself, like you love your twin heart, your twin flame, which is that unconditional love, that maternal, paternal love, whatever, you all of a sudden you look at yourself as like a parent loves a child, and you say, it's okay, honey, you didn't go to the gym today, it's all right.
Exactly.
We'll stay in and we'll color, we'll bake cookies together. It's showing that you love, and once you do that and you love yourself, you're absolutely free.
Absolutely free, because now you're no longer looking for somebody outside of yourself to soothe that child.
Bingo. And then you actually, I mean, my belief is that you're actually drawing those people, or that person, that heart, closer to you, who does also love you unconditionally, because you don't have conditions on yourself. So they love all your imperfections. They love the fact that you have these habits, or whatever, that you're a couple pounds overweight, whatever. They absolutely love you because you love yourself.
Absolutely. And it's what's wonderful too. And I just feel like somebody on the other side is just screaming at me to say this. Infinite love and gratitude, and they just told me it was Mother Mary, and Infinite love and gratitude. She said it's okay to demand love. So when you know you're worthy, and that's how simple it is to just give yourself a break and realize that you are already perfect in all of your imperfections, then you have a right to demand that love be returned. We have a right to do that. It's very important because you have to know that you're worthy of the relationship that's coming your way. And then, it's wonderful. I guess I would like to finish by saying this. I love it, is that, you know what, hope is okay for the interim. Okay. Hope is a nice thing, but if you hang on to it too long, okay, you'll drown with it. And then belief is amazing when you can start moving towards a place of belief, and that this is what happens when you get to self-love. So then you start believing, okay, a little bit more in yourself and in life and in love. And when you get to belief, that's great, because that'll buy you a ticket to heaven. But when you know, and this goes to Einstein's theory of relativity, when you take it past belief, you know that when you vibrate like love, that energy is returned to you. When you know, that is when you want to get real confident and start demanding in the most loving way that love relationship be brought into your life. And you start just literally saying every day, I'm ready. But you got to be real with yourself and find any little place, any little trauma or any part of that inner child that's still hurt, that's still feeling like they're not worthy of love, because that's what's blocking that great love relationship for most of us, is a feeling that we are not worthy. And it's that right behavior means love reaction that most of us carry.
Oh, Abigail Noel, I love you.
I love you. Thank you so much. I'm always so honored to be on here.
I couldn't think of I knew I wanted to do something special for Valentine's and for this, really for this whole month of love in February. And I was just like so excited to get you back on. The listeners love you. I love you. And you want to give out your website, and you have a special deal for our listeners, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Just half off sessions. So half off sessions. I usually run an hour or an hour and a half on sessions. So half off for any out of the box listeners. And you can go to AbigailNoel.com. That's AbigailNoel.com. And there's a place to message and schedule there as well. And you can also shoot me. Well, actually, the message is fine there. So message me there and I'll get it. Or find me on Facebook as well. And again, that's Abigail, ABIGAIL, Noel, NOEL.com. Thank you so much, Christine. I am just very honored again to be on the show, and I can't wait to see you when I'm out in LA this summer.
And we're gonna have you back. We're gonna have you come back on the show a lot. Any real quick final goodbye there, Abigail?
Man, just all love. Thank you, listeners, and thank you, Christine, for having me on the show. And I love Valentine's Day too. So yeah, take time this month, you guys, to tell people that you love them. It can really make a difference. It really can.
I agree wholeheartedly. And I just want to remind our listeners, please, to tune in next week for more from Out of the Box Radio. I'm your host, Christine Blasdale. Have a beautiful day, and go tell somebody that you love them.